Welcome to another yet first edition of the Abrams Boxing Show. I'm Marc Abrams, and we have a different concept each week. As we're going to do this multiple times. We're going to do each Monday. We're going to tape before or after all the big fights of the weekend and break down the news of the week. Also, later in the week, we will do a results thing or a preview for the next weekend's fights. Plus, we're going to do some instant reaction on the Friday or Saturday nights after a big fight. Those will probably be shorter. Maybe we'll try to get some guests who are actually at the arena, or if I'm there, I can get some live guests. We're going to be doing that one live. So a lot of good things, plus new platforms to be announced very soon as I'm talking to some people that are interested in putting this worldwide on some other distribution levels. It's a very exciting time for Abrams Boxing. This week, I got three guests for you. I got Victor Hernandez, a good-looking 130-pounder who just scored a big knockout down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He's 9-0, 8 knockouts. A very, very exciting fighter with Christy Martin. Also, one of his stablemates, Tony Aguilar, has fought a couple times on the zone, undefeated as well. Plus, the former junior middleweight champion of the world and current BKFC welterweight champion, Austin No Doubt Trout. So let's get right to it on this past Thursday night. Jesus Ricky Perez scored a split decision over former world champion Joseph Jojo Diaz. Perez now 25-5. Diaz drops to 33-5. That took place on Thursday night at the Commerce Casino in Commerce, California. Broadcast live on the Zone, or streamed live on the Zone, Golden Boy Promotions. Scores were 95-94 for Diaz, 96-94 for Perez, and somehow Judge Lou Moret saw it 99-90 for Perez. This was a close fight either way. In fact, Diaz landed more punches. Perez threw more. Could have been a draw. Could have been, I don't know about the draw because I think there was a knockdown involved. But it could have gone either way. So 99-90, it was a terrible score by Judge Lou Moret. Diaz was ducked at a point round 5 for basically shoving Perez down. I mean, I don't know, because of the competitiveness, does this put a fork on Jojo Diaz in terms of being an upper-level fighter, getting those upper-level fights? Maybe he will as a high-end B-side. Maybe he deserved the win, so we'll see what happens with Joseph Jojo Diaz. Perez now is probably going to get a good opportunity in about the 135-pound weight class. So let's keep an eye out for Ricky Perez. Friday night in Plant City, Florida, Roman Cardenas went to 24-1, 13th knockouts when his opponent, Israel Rodriguez Picasso, could not come out for round 7 of their main event on ProBox.TV or ProBox TV. That was Friday night. Friday night also in Mexico, Savante Nanshinga got even as he regained the IBF light flyweight championship with a 10th round stoppage over Adrian Curiel in Curio's home country of Mexico. It was a terrific fight, much like the first fight was a one-punch knockout until Curio kind of gave in a little bit, and Nanshinga landed a lot of shots in round 9, and Nanshinga rocked Curio again, and he hurt Curio in round 10, and he scored a knockdown. Ref stopped the fight. So Nanshinga now is the world champion for the second time, avenging the November stoppage loss that took place in Monte Carlo. So we'll see if there's going to be a third fight. Also, Friday night at the Theater Madison Square Garden, WBC junior lightweight champion Oshaki Foster scored a 12-round split decision to retain his title over Abraham Nova. Foster now 22-2, Nova now 23-2. It was a pretty good fight. I set a good pace. A lot of blood in the fight. Nova's mouth was bleeding a lot, but Foster was able to hang. Well, actually, Foster who was bleeding from the mouth. Scores are 116, 111, 115, 112 for Foster, 114, 113 for Nova. I don't think Nova hurt his stock in that fight, even though he didn't come home with a belt. but he fought a good fight. You see the closeness of the scores, and look for Abraham Nova after a fight or two, maybe to get another shot at someone in the 130-pound division. Speaking of the 130-pound division, WBO number 15 ranked Andres Cortez went to 21-0. He scored a fourth-round stoppage over Brian Chevalier. Chevalier, who was ranked number 4. So Cortez is knocking on the door of a title shot. I think he's going to be a tough out for anyone. Fourth-round stoppage. Stoppage was at 217. Also, heading up the ESPN broadcast was Bruce Shoo Carrington, went to 11-0, notched his 7th knockout as he scored a fourth-round stoppage over Bernard Torres. Torres now 18-2. Carrington, another highlight reel knockout. Torres landed on his front side. Time was 2:59. Friday night, I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where I was able to call a fight card, 11 fights, Christy Martin Promotions, and the main event, the NABA USA Featherweight Championship fight between Victor Hernandez and Jose Garcia. Hernandez was sensational. He came out firing on all cylinders, didn't let up at all, and he was able to get the fourth-round stoppage over Garcia. And so after the fight, I had a chance to talk to Victor Hernandez, and this is how it went.
The new NABA, I'm going to get the bell here, the NABA USA Featherweight Champion, Vicious Victor. I'm calling you Vicious Victor Hernandez because that was a vicious performance tonight. Knocked out Garcia in the 4th round, a devastating knockout. You were on him from the beginning. It was almost like you were shot out of a can. I've seen you fight, and that's your style. Early, did you think you were hurting him? Because he actually, he looked like he was standing up to your punches. You were hitting him flush with everything. Did you think you were hurting him early, or?
I was just like, I was like, nobody can stand up to these shots. So let me just keep my foot on the gas pedal and just keep on going hard. And I was like, eventually he's gonna give in to one of these shots. So I never really fared away from saying, nah, I'm going to settle down or I'm going to stop throwing hard shots. I was just like, hey, eventually he's going to go down. I know this. This dude got to be superhuman to take all these shots.
Standing here, your trainer's just off to the side. You guys must do a heck of a train regimen. Because one thing we were saying on the broadcast was, can you keep this up for 8 rounds? Because, the pace you were setting was, something out of this world. And you were throwing power punches with pretty much all these. Were you ready to go 8 rounds like that?
Yes, sir. Axel is probably the best conditioning coach that you can get in. I knew that, so I didn't shy away from throwing any type of short punches or any half-ass punches. I knew, 100% shots. That's how we train. 100%. I even asked him sometimes, hey, should I go a little bit softer because you think I can keep up this pace? And he's like, no, dude, you got this. You got the endurance to keep going.
The thing we were saying, at the end of the 3rd round, he started landing a couple body shots on you. He started kind of getting going, but obviously early in round 4, you kind of changed that. You landed the big right. To talk about that right hand, and I don't know if you've seen the replay left. He folded back on his leg. Tell me what you saw heading into that punch.
Really, I don't remember the fight. I just got a killer instinct, and I know that I just know that if I keep coming forward and moving my head, eventually I'm going to do what the hunter does, and that stalk his prey until he goes down, and then I feed.
9-0, 8 knockouts. You got this belt now. I know a lot of fighters say once they get some kind of belt, it kind of gives them even more confidence. Is that the way you feel now?
Yes, sir. Monday, God willing, I'm back in the gym going hard.
When do you expect to maybe fight again?
I'm going to let my promoter and Coach Axel let y'all know I'm ready to go whenever. I can go tomorrow.
The guy who just went 10 rounds, Jordan White, I know very well, friendly with him and his family. He's a hard puncher. He went 10 rounds with Jordan White. You were able to get him out of there.
Yes, sir. He hit harder than what I expected. I didn't think he had anything in them punches, but he surprised me, and I just know that I'm a killer. I know that I'm not no coward, and I'm ready to bang.
What do you want to say to the fans in closing?
I want to thank all of my supporters back home in Louisiana. I'm sorry I missed Mardi Gras and I couldn't have Mardi Gras with y'all, but I decided to bring Mardi Gras to South Carolina, and I enjoyed it.
There's beads and beer back there, so you'll be all right.
I'm ready for the next one.
Where do we find you on Instagram or any social media?
Vic the Jalapeno, and on Facebook, Vic Hernandez.
You have it. Victor Hernandez gets his first belt tonight, the NABA USA featherweight title. We'll hope we see you some big fights real soon.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for everything. And my wife back home, Valerie. Yeah, this happened because of y'all.
Congratulations.
There you have it, Victor Hernandez, a very interesting now player in the 130-pound division. Christy Martin bringing him along. Some news items of the week. The Tiger management announced the signing of undefeated Arthur Bayarlasanov, who's now 13-0, 11 knockouts. I actually saw him fight live in the Pan Am Games a few years ago. I went up there to Canada to watch some fighters fight, and Arthur Bayarlasanov he's a good-looking fighter. Also, undisputed super middleweight champ Canelo Alvarez confirmed last week that he will be fighting May 4th. Is presumably in Las Vegas to take on maybe someone named Jamal Charlo. As he said, it's going to be fighting an American, but an unnamed American as of right now. But Jamal Charlo seems to be the guy people are talking about. Although Charlo was quoted last week, he's on vacation. He hasn't even heard about or even offered a fight like that. So we shall see who Canelo Alvarez faces on May the 4th. Two showdowns featuring a rising star flyweight world champion. Will highlight the first, PBC non-pay-per-view fights in the main fight before the pay-per-view starts. Will be the WBC flyweight champion Julio Cesar Martinez, 20-2, 15 knockouts, taking on Angelino Cordova, 18-0, 112 knockouts, and also Elijah Garcia, the rising young. I don't know if he's 20 years old yet. Elijah Garcia, 16-0, 13 knockouts, take on Kyron Davis of Wilmington, Delaware. He's 18-3-1 with 6 knockouts. Also, IBF junior welterweight champion Subriel Matias signed with Matchroom. Expect the fight with Liam Perot sometime in, I'd say May or June in Matias' home country of Puerto Rico. So that should be sometime in the early summer. Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor are finally going to meet on April 27th. That will be in the First District Arena. I believe that's going to be in Leeds. I think that's where it might be. England. That will be streamed live exclusively on ESPN Plus in the United States and DAZN in the UK. Golden Boy Promotions announced the signing of former U.S. Olympian and number 1 ranked WBC super welterweight in the world, Charles Conwell. Charles Conwell is a really good fighter, so it's a really good signing for Golden Boy Promotions. ESPN announced that Jared Anderson, the top 10 ranked by the WBC and IBF heavyweight, 16-0, 15 knockouts. He will take on former cruiserweight champion Riyad Murhai, who's now 32-2 with 26 knockouts. So look for Big Baby Anderson to get back in the ring April 13th in Corpus Christi, Texas. Earlier, I was down in South Carolina. Christy Martin also is another interesting fighter, an all-action fighter who's fought twice on DAZN. He's undefeated, and he had a draw in one of the fights on DAZN named Tony Aguilar. So I had a real good chance to speak with him, and this is how it went with Tony Aguilar.
Here with Tony Aguilar, who, after we just witnessed a great night of boxing, Christy Martin Promotions, your promoter. Great show tonight.
Yeah, it was a really great show. You know, we came out here to support our boys, Vic and Marco, and Vic came out here and did his thing. And, we're really proud of them. They both went out there and showed out, and we can't wait for more from them.
Speaking of exciting fighters, exciting fights, last couple of times up on DAZN, you fighting on the Jake Paul cards, and you're probably in the fight of the night both times. One was a win, I believe one was a draw, if I'm not mistaken, for the second one. Talk about the last 2 times getting that national exposure, and, what's it done for your career?
Fighting on TV, is obviously you get a bunch of exposure. A lot of people coming up to me and congratulating me on my fights and how good I did, and it doesn't hurt that we got fight of the night both times. You know what I mean? So we're excited to be fighting on there again April 26th.
Breaking news, April 26th.
April 26th, we'll be back on the zone live worldwide. You know what I mean? Can't say too much about it yet, but yeah, we're gonna be back, and just know that this fight's gonna be the best fight yet.
Is it? I mean, I don't know. You might always say this or not. Back in Orlando.
Yep. Back in Orlando at the Caribe Royale in Florida.
You become a real fan favorite down there.
Yes, sir. That's what, you know what I mean. We give the fans a fight that they like to see, and they want to see more of it. You know, so that's how we're gonna make a name for ourselves, by having these exciting fights, and we're just gonna keep doing that.
You fought about 5 or 6 undefeated guys so far, and still undefeated. You don't see a lot of that these days with the way guys are brought up. You know, fighting guys. You're not afraid. You're one of those anywhere, anytime kind of guys, aren't you?
Yeah. Old school. Whoever wanted can get it. You know what I mean. I said it from the beginning. I don't want to take these you know what I mean, easy fighters, you know, cab drivers like they say. I want the undefeated guys. We done beat 4 undefeated dudes, you know what I mean, and we're just gonna keep going for that. That's the only thing that's gonna get us our name.
I want to say the fans in closing.
Just thank everybody for all the support, and just keep a lookout, because you know we just getting started.
As I ask everyone these days, 2024, where do we find you on the gram?
On the gram, Tony_Aguilar 99. Everything else, Tony Aguilar on Facebook and, you know, social media.
We'll see you April 26th down in Orlando. Looking for another great fight.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Tony Aguilar, as we come back in here on the Abrams Boxing Show. Again, he's a very exciting fighter. People watch the zone. There's Jake Paul Prospect Series cards. Has seen him, like, he's been in the fight of the night both times. He's been on there, and like you said, we back April 26th in Orlando for another appearance on the Jake Paul Most Valuable Prospects card. Earlier this week, I had a chance to talk to the former 154-pound world champion and current reigning defending BKFC, the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, Austin Trout, and, you know, he hints a possible return to boxing. So here's the interview, and this is how it went. Now joining me on the line is a 2-sport world champion, the former boxing junior middleweight champion of the world, and the current reigning defending Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships welterweight champion of the world, Austin No Doubt Trout. Austin, how you doing today?
Marc, I'm doing grand, man. How you doing?
Doing good. So let's get right to it. A few weeks ago, actually about less than 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, you defeated Luis Palomino to become the Bare Knuckle champion at welterweight. Talk about that, being a 2-sport, 2-division world champion.
Listen, man, and you know, ever since I lost my belt to Canelo, 2013, anybody that would introduce me as a former champion, I would always correct them and say, and future, right? And future. And then 10 plus years, I've been correcting people. And it got annoying after a while. They're like, yeah, right, 10 years ago, you're not going to be a champ again. It happened, right? I believed it. Now I'm a 2-time 2-sport world champion. And, you know, I'm very proud of that accomplishment.
So let's take a little bit backtrack. So let's talk about, I guess, the switching of the sport, going over to bare knuckle. What was your thought process into, you know, I want to say leaving boxing, because I would imagine if there's an opportunity that comes up in boxing, you'll jump right back at that. But what was your thought process signing with the BKFC?
Again, you know, I saw that they were just a very fast-growing sport. The production is top-notch. You know, and for being a young sport, I mean, the efficiency was pretty good. And I was a fan of it before they even approached me. So when they're like, yo, would you do this? And Nelson Lopez, shout out to Nelson, he's the one who reached out. And I was like, yeah, man, I do. Who? How much? Both of those, the name and the money was good to me. And honestly, they're giving me opportunities. Boxing's not, you know. And even if boxing wanted to give me an opportunity, how long would it take to get that done? It'd probably take a year or two. I don't have that kind of time to wait.
Obviously, I guess, you know, the stuff with your hands, you know, you already have that down from being a boxer, but there's other nuances to this game that were new to you. I know, like when you're in the clinches, you can probably do a little bit more rough housing in the clinches and stuff like that. How long did that take you to kind of get used to like the couple kind of differences and nuances that are not in traditional boxing?
Honestly, it took all camp, and I'm still learning. Like, I'm still working on those things, and every fight you see, it gets better. And so, it took all camp. It's something I was working on all camp for. And you won't believe all the intricacies that are involved in standing grappling. Yeah, AG is in there. So like, it's something that I still gotta learn. In fact, it's a different win too. Like, all that wrestling, it gets you tired. I could punch all day, but a little bit of that holding and hitting and clinching and roughhousing, that takes a lot of energy that you got to get used to.
What I guess is that maybe the toughest part that you've had to learn so far?
Again, in camp, it's a lot harder than the fights, so it doesn't seem like. But yeah, the clinching, the holding, the hitting, these things called underhooks and overhooks. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Head control, head positioning. And Bob Perez here at Main Street Muay Thai and Boxing, he has little gems that I can just go work on, and they work out. It works out.
I guess I mean the first fight you signed on, you fought former UFC star Diego Sanchez. Did you go in this kind of looking for a long term kind of thing, or like I said, you were presented a big name, like you said, the money I guess was right for you? Did you think it was just going to be maybe get some big names, some bigger events, and maybe jump right back into boxing, and maybe I don't know, did you expect to be fighting for a world title in the second fight?
So I did, when I started it, I wasn't doing it just to do it. I wanted to be a world champion, and looking at the whole scale of the BKFC, I knew I could do it. Luis Palomino, who everyone said was the pound for pound, I right away was like, well, then that's who I want. Let me get through Diego, and I want Palomino. Luckily for me, Palomino called me out. I didn't have to chase him. But yeah, because I want to be Kane. And I think I could be Kane for this for quite a while.
Do you think you're a little bit of a Marc man, being that you are probably one of the more high profile boxers that have kind of jumped over?
I hope so. I hope everybody wants to smoke, but from the way I just dispatched their pound for pound king, I don't know if they're gonna be lining up.
And in the, I guess, either distant or near future, are there any big name opportunities for you, or what are you looking at?
No, there's quite a few big name opportunities. I mean, Eddie Alvarez would be a great name fight. Um, Hell, I know Palomino was going after Mike Perry, and granted, he is 175 pounder, and really I'm really 155 pounder. So I'm down to get up there and go for that fight. But I want to do some cleaning up in my weight class first. You know what I mean? Tony Soto, I think, is the number one rated guy, 65. I take that fight. If Conor McGregor ever decides to come into the bare knuckle game, I would definitely spark that lad. So there's a lot of, and not just that, but bare knuckles going after a lot of big names in other sports to bring them over. So even if and they're not saying there is big names now to fight. There's going to be bigger names to fight here in the near future as well. So let me go ahead and get rid of these guys, and then whenever somebody comes in, they got to deal with me.
Do you feel? I know, like you just said, back to traditional boxing, you said maybe it would take a while for you to maybe kind of work yourself back to the top. Do you feel, with a couple high profile wins here, can your name maybe become hot again in the other sport?
I hope so. If the sport's still around, I'm hoping boxing, makes a comeback, and because in my opinion, boxing needs me. Like, they're acting like they don't need me, but boxing needs me. They need some good names that the people love. Instead of trying to introduce all these new people that they haven't done a good job at promoting yet. They want these new kids to come already developed. It's just reminding me of like the music business. There is no A&R. It's just come develop, have a following, sell CDs, and then we'll sign. It's like, well, what I need you to sign me for? Feel me? So I think boxing needs to go back to one promote a fighter. Get somebody that you can put some money behind, get their name out there. Let us find this story, fall in love with the kid again. You know what I mean? Get a hometown hero. Go back to what used to work. And hopefully again, boxing needs me right now. It's not like boxing's doing great without me.
Um, you're fighting. I know you're fighting for my good friend David Feldman in the BKFC. Like you said, if one of those opportunities presents itself, and not to pry too much into your business, but you're under contract with BKFC. Is do you is it easy, or would you be allowed to jump back over?
BKFC, from my dealings with them, they're for the fighter. I have not seen not one exclusive contract that they've sent out. The only thing they don't want you to do is fight for another bare knuckle league, which is definitely understandable. They make it very easy to go back and forth. And I think they understand that if you do something in the other sport and it come back to bare knuckle, you bring that with you, and it just makes the bare knuckle look better. They're learning how to promote. Well, not even learning. They are promoting. They're promoting fighters. Look at the promotion. 2 fights with them, I've got like 5,000 followers. Dylan, you know what I mean? I haven't had that jump of followers since I fought Cotto. You know what I'm saying? And it took a Miguel Cotto, Madison Garner, fight to get my following up. Whereas the BKFC PR department, they go after it. They're still calling me like, hey, time for. I mean, they set this up. They're doing a great job of promoting.
When can we expect to see you back in? I guess like I said, I've known Dave a long time. Fellow Philly guy. When do we expect to see Austin Trout toe the line again?
Hey, ASAP, my hands feel good. I don't have to heal up for real. I'm hearing rumors that this guy wants a rematch. I don't know if the bare knuckles are going to give it to him. He don't necessarily deserve it. But let's go to 155 and fight for that belt.
What's the welterweight in BKFC?
165.
Wait, oh, you're 165.
Yeah.
So you're looking. You could move down 10 pounds if you need to.
I would love. That's where I fight at. My
Well,
last
you're
fight.
154, but 154 for a long
Yeah.
time. So
And
you
I
know,
still make it just fine.
would there be anyone in the squared circle that you'd be interested in fighting?
Shit. Bring Charlo on. I need that rematch. Big Charlo or little Charlo. Come see me at the bare knuckle ring. Herd's too
Have you
big.
talked to? I know obviously you're one of the more friendly and personal guys on the boxing scene. You've been talking to some of your buddies who are still boxers and kind of trying to pull them into the BKFC ring.
I'm trying, but for the most part, most boxers are like, nah, I'm good.
Let me ask you.
Most boxers are like, nah, I'm good. I ain't that crazy. You crazy, man. I'm like, look, it's not that different. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna get caught with something, no matter how hard it is, you're gonna go down if it's the right spot.
How is it punching with like were they 5 ounce gloves or actually it's the tape? It's just tape.
Yeah, it's just tape. It's no
I'm
gloves.
thinking of MMA.
No gloves. Yeah.
How is it just punching with the tape?
I love it. I like it, man, because you feel every piece of that shot, even the little ones that nick. You know what I mean? You're like, that still hurt. I know it hurt. No, I love it.
So a guy like you, when you were fighting, you were known more as a boxer, puncher kind of thing. This kind of evens the playing field out. It makes everyone a puncher in this game.
It really does. And the thing that all boxers need to understand is that if you can't fight, then you're gonna be fighting the whole fight. The only way that you can get to your boxing is if you know how to fight and stop that clinch, stop that inside fighting. If you get the best of them on the inside, they're gonna stay outside, and that's your game. You know what I'm saying? That inside's their game. And so learning how to fight is gonna be key. You gotta be able to bang it out, make it uncomfortable for them inside.
Besides Austin Trout, because you're already world champion, name me another guy or two who's who are fighter, who are boxers that would probably excel in the BKFC.
Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford would be a monster in the BKFC. I mean, he's a monster in boxing. But I'm just telling you, like Terrence Crawford would probably go up and whoop heavyweights. if he wanted to. He would be a monster in that. There's some guys that aren't necessarily the best in boxing, but that would be a lot of the best in the bare knuckle that were best in boxing.
That's why I asked that question, because I figured there'd be a name or two out there whose game may resonate more to, like you said, the inside grappling and all that stuff that would help them. Whereas in traditional boxing, it doesn't come out as much.
Aguilar, he's a heavyweight. That man would be a monster, and he's a better street fighter than he is anything. So this would be right up his alley. Another one, Cuban, Mike Perez. He would be a monster in this bare knuckle, and I'm trying to get them in there too.
Well, if they're out there hearing this, you already got the endorsement from the champ, Austin Trout. Austin, what do you want to say to the fans in closing before we let you go?
I appreciate y'all rocking with me, and everybody that's been rocking with me since my fateful day, 2013. We did it. We are champions again, and we're gonna be champions for quite a while. So I'm gonna give y'all all something to brag about at work the next weekend.
Well, we look forward to seeing you toe the line, hopefully the next couple of months, defending your world title. Austin, thank you for a few minutes of your time, and we'll talk to you along the way.
Awesome. Have a good one.
Thanks, Austin. Austin, no doubt, Trout, the BKFC, a welterweight champ of the world. That's our show. We'll be back later this week with previews on this weekend's action. And plus, when available, we're going to be doing some instant reaction, whether it's a Friday night fight, Thursday night fight, big fights are there. Hopefully, we can do it from inside the venue. We'll be going to a lot of fights, a lot of big fights coming up. So that's all we got this week. I'm Marc Ames, and we'll see you next time on the Abrams Boxing Show.